share your thoughts on stuff thus far. Okay? So, you should be unlocked. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to look at Period 5's weekly thread. We're going to focus on this expectations reminder with 3 major categories that I kind of want to prioritize. Those being phones, passes in the bathrooms, and then late work. Okay? So, before we start, I want to say that I've had an interesting relationship with phones this year and keeping them away and doing stuff and etc. I would politely ask that right now you put your phones and your distractions away and listen to what I have to tell you. Okay? So, if you're on your phone, I would prefer you just close it for a second. I promise you, you will survive. You'll survive. Okay. So, if you look in the replies for this post here, you're going to see some expectations that I want to go over real quick, things that I'm trying to hold myself to, things that I am trying to hold you guys to, and things that you should be trying to hold me to. Okay? I don't want this classroom, I don't ever want to be, I have authority over you. I want us to be more advisor-mentor kind of thing, mentee kind of thing. All right? So, all that's to say is I am interested in your opinion once I share some of my thoughts here. All right? Is that clear? Okay. First things first. A major expectation in this classroom is that you do not have to be perfect, but you do have to try. Okay? How many of y'all are in Von Bargen's class? Raise your hand real quick. Okay? Not too many, which is actually a good thing. Because in Von Bargen's classroom, she has this little red flyer right as you walk in the front door that says, this is a high-performing classroom. It is okay not to be correct, but it is not okay to not try. Okay? Expectations are high even for students who don't yet have high expectations for themselves. I greatly respect Miss Von Bargen. She's one of the teachers who I aspire to be like. I imagine you guys who have her have a similar experience with her teaching style, with the way that she does things. Okay? That is something I want to emulate in this classroom by emphasizing and expecting you to not be perfect, but I am expecting you to give it a shot. Okay? So what I'm talking about is you guys should be listening right now and not goofing off with each other's computers. All right? Okay. You have to make an effort. This is something that I've learned in my various industry, various work, various just sort of life experiences, is that even if you make an effort and things don't go exactly as you plan, or maybe you're totally wrong about something that you made an effort towards, the act of doing the effort will get you a lot farther than you anticipate. Okay? Most of my jobs have been on-the-job experience. They're like, you have this responsibility, go do it. Not much guidance, a lot of figuring out. Okay? I've made plenty of efforts where it's gone totally nowhere and I've had to start over, but because I made that effort, the people I was working with were a lot more likely to help me and a lot more able to get me to where I needed to be. Okay? I want to emulate that in this classroom, especially since CTE prioritizes industry experience and application of the working world into the classroom. All I'm asking is you guys do not have to be perfect, because it's impossible to start off. You do have to try. Okay? That's all I'm asking. Make an effort. More on that is that messing up is part of the learning. Take it from my experience. I have learned plenty of things the hard way, and while it sucks, it's been a great teacher because I know what doesn't work, what not to do, how to avoid things like this in the future, and I would not have picked that up had I not messed up. And me putting this into the classroom expectation is for you guys to understand that I am designing the things that we do around room for you guys to make mistakes. I want you to be making mistakes because you have to mess up in order to grow. All right? It's non-negotiable. All right? If you think about a seed, which is what y'all are, all of us, as humans too, it's got to break out of its case before it does any type of eating of the sun. Okay? That's pretty simple, but you get it. You have to mess up. Something has to go, quote unquote, wrong in order for you to grow. Okay? That's an expectation in this classroom. That's something I expect you guys to be doing, and that's something I hope you expect me to be doing. Okay? I am not perfect. You need to have patience and grace with yourself as you learn and try things. Because it is all of our first times being alive. You should take it easy on yourself. Okay? Don't be too hard on yourself. You're figuring it out as well. Okay? Does that make sense? Is that clear as well? Actually, it's probably a better way of asking. All right. Some of the philosophical expectations that I kind of have for this course that I should have of you and you should have of me. Good? Okay. Moving on. We'll get more into the sort of classroom features, or classroom functions, so to speak. Your phones and your devices should be away when necessary. Okay? I've had a kind of, tense isn't the right word, we'll call it an interesting relationship with managing phones this year. It's my least favorite part of this job. And it's something that I'm putting out into the air so that we're all, at least you hear what I say about distractions and phones being away when necessary. I still believe that you need a phone to do your job. I have mine right here, and I needed it for an example just a second ago. And for me to say you cannot use your phone is not realistic. Okay? Also keep in mind that while I am not that much older than you, our relationships with our cell phones, because I am addicted to mine, I've lived in a world without a cell phone. You guys have not. So our relationships with these devices, from like a societal perspective, is totally different. That's okay, but it's clear that like when adults try to maintain the phone stuff, our brains are wired differently for these devices, and I'm aware of that. So I just want to be clear. You still get to use it. I'm not going to take it, but it needs to be away when necessary. Examples of when that necessary or that necessity is stuff like right now, where I'm doing some type of lecture or presentation. Any group activities you might be doing with small groups, with your meetings, your advisors, whatever, phones, devices away. And anytime we do any partner work or class collaborations. All right? Phones and devices can also mean distractions. It can mean things on the internet that you're doing that you're not supposed to be doing. It can be things that you're working on where you should be working on something else. All right? Only when necessary. The live on air sign is now just decoration. I will tell you when is phone pocket time. But right now is not that. We'll try it this week, now that you know it's an expectation. Okay? Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Any qualms? Cool. All right, next thing. You need to sign out. All right? I hate to be, again, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I do not like policing what you're doing. I personally think I have, this is my opinion here, the activities are doing the teaching, the things that we do in here. You'll take what you will from it. I'm not in this business to have control. I don't like that. Okay? But if you're talking right now, you should not be. Can't talk and listen at the same time, so please stop. And if your neighbors are talking, you might want to remind them to shush. Gently. Okay. You guys are my responsibility for this part of the day. Okay? So I need to know at least vaguely where you are. There are 2 sign-out sheets, or sign-out whiteboards, I should say, by each of the doors. You can exit or sign out from either one. But if there's not a red pass on there, or if there's not a name on the board, or if there is a name on the board, you gotta wait for the pass to return. Okay? I understand that there are emergency exceptions. That is also true. And I trust that when you're going to have a bathroom emergency, whenever that may be, that it's what's really happening. You don't need to give me all the details. In fact, I would prefer if you didn't give me all the details on a bathroom emergency. That being said, don't take advantage of my trust if you're having a quote-unquote emergency. Because I've had students in the past, nobody in here, but students in the past where they were having a lot of bathroom emergencies that were not exactly that. It's not 100% of the truth. Okay? So please don't take advantage of the trust that I have in you, and tell me where you are so that I know you're good. All right? That's common courtesy, especially when you grow up. Okay? On each of the whiteboards, there's one by the door in the back and the door in the front. There is a pen, or an expo marker, a paper towel, the pass itself, and then some instructions. Anytime you leave this room for anytime you're taking a pass, you put your name and the time that you left, and when you get back, you erase it. Okay? If you're curious if there is a pass, look to the whiteboards. If they're blank, you're good. If they've got a name, you got to wait for that pass to return or take the other one. Okay? Make sense? Okay. Please use these. I need to know where y'all are at. All right? We good on that? Cool. The last thing I want to go over, expectations-wise, before I hear about some of your breaks, if you want to tell me, because I'm excited to hear. Okay. Time management is a very valuable skill in all aspects of my professional career, which is what I imagine you guys want to have after you complete high school. Whatever path you take to get there is your decision. But if you want to have a valuable career, you got to learn how to manage your time. And that comes from prioritizing. What I ask in this room is that you continue to prioritize my stuff. Unless I have given you explicit, you can do whatever you need to do, independent work time, you should be prioritizing my things. The reason for that, and the reason it's an expectation, is because when we're in the same room, I can actually quickly answer your questions, and it doesn't get lost in the sea of emails or the sea of digital communication that we do. As valuable as that is, there's a lot of it, okay? While we're sharing our time together, while you're with your peers with a similar responsibility at the time, that is the best opportunity to be asking questions, because then all of us can help at least a little bit. Okay? I still expect that you're prioritizing my stuff. So when we're doing an RP drafting day, I shouldn't see any bio work. I shouldn't see any math work. There shouldn't be any comp sci on your screens. Okay? Prioritize my time. I don't demand respect from you, but I do ask that you know that I'm making an effort to give you guys time to do these things and to do them well. And I'll just leave it at that. Okay? On the time management being a valuable skill, I am refiguring out what my late work policy is because I've been so bad about grading this year, because I've been very behind in a majority of my grading and my feedback. I think this semester I'm going to get rid of the 30% off, but I will maintain that things cannot be turned in after the quarter rollover. Okay? So the first half of the semester, if you didn't turn something in, I'm sorry, that's a bummer. Okay? But you still have until finals to turn in anything we've worked on from that first rollover date. That first quarter one end. Or I guess it'd be quarter two. I don't know. But anyway, that's where I'm at with that. And communicating with me is also time management. If you're gonna need more time on something, I'm really likely to give it to you. I expect you to ask me, though, or tell me what's going on in as much detail as you think is appropriate so that I know where you are at and I can better help you. Talk to me. I'm a human too, and I was not a stellar student. So, not saying you guys aren't stellar students. I'm just saying I've been in a position where I didn't want to ask for an extension because it didn't feel right. Don't feel that with me. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense? Swag. Okay. I mentioned other classwork. I know you guys are busy, especially being IB, especially being career path, especially being seniors on top of everything. You got a lot of coals in the fire, so to speak. Keep in mind, though, that it's still expected you prioritize my classwork when I tell you to. When I make it clear in writing and with my voice or whatever, that's what we're working on. All right? These are my main expectations for this classroom. Okay? And since I want this room to remain collaborative, I don't want to be in a position of complete authority over you. I don't like that feeling. I imagine you don't like it either. I want you guys to have the opportunity to give me your feedback. So among any of these, does anybody have anything they want to share? Publicly, or you can talk to me privately after class if you'd prefer. This is a fancy way of saying you can tell me that this sucks and I hate it, or this is great and I'm fine with it. You can tell me that I suck, in fact. You won't hurt my feelings. Because that's valuable information. It's things I can change and improve upon. All right? That being said, do these seem fair? Does anybody have anything that they would or they feel is missing, feel like there's not included in part of these expectations? Or are we all good with these so far? All right. Give me a thumb for your comfort with these expectations. Up being great, side being and down being disagree. Give me a little bit. I see some thumbs up, 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 up. Cool. All right. Again, I want you to have the ability to tell me when something is not working. That is a skill that I have not picked up until my age, and it's burnt me more than it hasn't, okay? So if something's not working, practice telling somebody that, because that applies to a lot more than just school, okay? That'll make more sense when you're older. Sound good? Anybody have anything they want to share in closing? All right. Now, this is where you have independent work time to do whatever. You do not have to prioritize my stuff. Okay? Cool. It's good to see y'all again. I've missed y'all. It was too quiet at home. I need a little bit more excitement. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it very much. These are available in your P5 PPS thread in case you ever need a reminder.